I've heard nothing but great things about Bendy and the Dark Revival. The original Bendy was extremely flawed and could be greatly improved. So did this game actually surpass its predecessor? Well, I sure hope so, so without any further ado, let's dive straight in.
What's wrong with my hands?
First things first, yes, this game is definitely better than Bendy the Ink Machine. It looks so much better with more detail, better animations, better decorated rooms, and yes, better gameplay. It does have the same style though, being only black and yellowish white. It does look very good and stylized at first, but it does get old while you play. When you start though, it doesn't have this cartoonish aesthetic. It looks much more like real life with actual colors. This first section tries to teach you the basics of the gameplay. You have a section of rooms you have to cross through and then backtrack through, showing that you'll likely have to backtrack a lot throughout the game. This could be good or bad depending on how it's handled. Oh, and obviously there are a few scares. You're also introduced to Wilson, a character you will soon learn is very important to this game's story. He immediately gives off very unsettling vibes, even to Audrey, the woman you play as.
Mind if I step in?
Of course not.
Thank you, Audrey.
In fact, Audrey talks a lot throughout the game, and her acting is actually pretty good.
There you go, little guy. And only 800 more frames to go.
Props to Erin Lean. I don't know how to pronounce that. Leon? I don't know. This real world segment is like the prologue, and it's pretty short. But nearing the end, you're given a quick, familiar task. Gather the 6 items to offer to the ink machine to turn it on. This was the main thing you did in the first chapter of Bendy the Ink Machine, and it's repeated here, which is kind of understandable. It immediately gives people something to compare this game to the game that came right before it, just to see how much the developers improved, and they did improve. Not only is it a much smaller area this time, making it far less annoying, but the objects look far better, and there's unique animations for picking up different objects. This really shows the jumping quality this game has, and it's pretty good. After you start the ink machine, the room starts filling with ink, because obviously it would. What did you expect to happen? But then Wilson grabs you and...
What are you doing? Oh no!
Man, that was a great opening. But now you're put straight back into this world now with a familiar aesthetic. This time, you truly get into the game. From here, it shows off more basic mechanics. You look around the scenery, finding items to progress, while also looking at the nice, beautiful environment. You can also tell by the environmental decorations and even audio tapes that Wilson has taken down the ink demon, Bendy himself.
For 211 days, you've lived without the ink demon haunting your steps. I banished him away.
The tapes are even attached to you this time, so you can freely walk around while listening to them, which was something that you couldn't do in the first game, which really annoyed me. I mean, this game also has plenty of tapes that you can't listen to while walking around, and even notes that you have to physically read, so it's not perfect. Like, why would I stop the game to just go read something? This is boring. Why would I do this? But there is quite a lot of stuff you can read to find more about this world if you're into that. But, you know, I usually just don't mess with it. One moment I really liked and thought was clever design was that in this first hallway, there's a cabinet you can hide in at this end of the hall. I immediately assumed that this meant that I'd have to run back to this cabinet and hide, because why else would it be here? So I was super tense walking down this hallway, waiting for something to pop out and chase me. Nothing did. This game made me tense with just the presence of a cabinet. However, I'm unsure if this was purposeful or if they was just an accident because they were just decorating the rooms. But I hope it was intentional, because hopefully this game can keep me freaked out the whole time, never knowing when something is gonna jump out. Hopefully. You're also introduced to the main mechanic of the game, stealth. While searching around for items, an enemy breaks through a door and now you have to find what you need while hiding from him. It's actually quite fun, and you're even given a marker for where you need to go to get the items you need so you can focus on stealth and not exploration. However, after a while of hiding, I realized that if you just run and hide, the enemies just immediately stop caring. So from there, I just didn't hide. I just run to a hiding spot, not caring if they saw me. And even if they did attack me, I have plenty of health. And even if they did kill me, I just respawn with literally no downside. It doesn't undo any progress I've made or anything. If this is the main mechanic, it better get better than this. Afterwards, you're told to find a weapon to break through a lock. After you manage to find one, you can just attack the enemies and kill them. So I guess that just gets rid of stealth now. You can also just break the locks, so it removes the idea of searching for keys. Why did they practically get rid of the 2 main mechanics of the game just to replace it with a combat system that's not great? I mean, searching for keys isn't entirely removed because now you're searching for other things that aren't keys like levers. But stealth is pretty much gone, at least for now. Combat is at least added to with the new mechanic of banishments. If you come up to an enemy from behind while they're unaware of you, you can just kill them immediately. I barely used it though. It was often better and quicker to just attack them normally, even though I would take a lot of damage, but remember, you can just respawn with 0 side effects. The banishment mechanic though does show a lot of potential, since it is a magic ability that you get while being an ink creature. Oh yeah, Wilson turned Audrey into an ink creature, and honestly, she looks pretty cool. Most other characters also look really cool and are given new models. Like good Alice, who finds you and ends up giving you pretty pointless advice.
Lesson 1. Searchers don't have legs and they tend to swarm.
However, Audrey, smartly enough, asks to go with her to be safe.
Can I come with you?
but she says you can't since she has a wolf who apparently doesn't like people.
I have a wolf. He doesn't care for strangers.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty terrible reason, since without your help, I'll probably die, but fine, it's a game. The game probably just wants you to be alone, so it had to come up with a reason. Anyways, after this, you find baby Bendy, a cute, lovable Bendy that contrasts well with the demon Bendy. Maybe this is the Bendy for this game, since Wilson apparently killed the demon Bendy. Yes, Wilson lied. Now, Demon Bendy is after you, and you have to hide whenever he gets close. Okay, so we got more stealth segments. I wish. Bendy doesn't actually wander around, but instead the game just says he's getting closer. Randomly, while playing, the screen will just get darker and you need to hide until it stops. If you don't, you die. And like, actually die. You don't respawn. You have to load your save. This is very annoying, and it's not scary or tense. You know, since you can't even see Bendy walking around. Like, you don't have to plan ahead or rush when the coast is clear. You just play normally and hide whenever the game feels like making you hide. It's weird and just disappointing. However, the gaps between when you need to hide is quite big. So what do you actually do most of the time? Well, around this time, you find an ink creature claiming that he wants his drawings.
I drew him. I want him back.
This part seemed really interesting. I know from the trailer that you can't interact with some NPCs, so this is likely just a friend. And the fact he's asking for his drawing shows that he's an actual person who worked for Joey Drew Studios making animations. He's not just a mindless monster, he's a person. So you find his drawings, and he opens the door, and he attacks you like a mindless monster. Great. This first chapter is also misleading a lot. Shortly after meeting Alice, you're set free in a pretty big room with multiple ways to go. I thought this meant the game was somewhat open world. Chapter 3 of Bendy and the Ink Machine was open and you had to wander around doing tasks. I assumed this was the same, but no. One way just leads to extra collectibles and I almost passed them, since I thought the path was just a different direction that I could travel. Again, disappointing. You're also shown this number log and you're given a code through an audio log nearby. This also shows potential, but it also falls flat. It only appears a handful of times in the game and it never lives up to its potential. One time we do have a cool puzzle where you see images in one room and projector with images in the other. You need to find the number in each image and use the images in the other room to find the order of the numbers to open the door. That's pretty cool. Another time it's just written on the wall, so that's there too. But they really don't show up much, so like, why even have it at all? Or, you know, why not make more of them or something? So again, disappointing. One memorable area is found right after you get another ink ability. You're able to warp forward, which is really fun, but also barely used. Well, barely required to be used, but you can use it whenever you want. Anyway, this area is a big room with a panel that opens the door for 3 other rooms, but only one can be opened at a time. I thought maybe you could have one of those number locks with one number hidden at each area, but nope, missed opportunity if you ask me. I couldn't find anything, but I did see a balcony on top, so I warped to the platform and tried to warp onto the balcony. I thought I was really smart for realizing that I could warp there, but I just couldn't warp there. Actually, you do need to get up there, but you need to move another platform to be able to do it. So I guess I've just been wasting all of my time trying to do this. But okay, how do you move the platform? Well, in one of the side areas, you can warp through a wall. Huh? I don't understand the rules of warping. Like, yeah, there's a window, but that doesn't mean that I don't... Never mind. On the other side, you find a key. You go to take it back and find Bendy. Now run! You run back, warp through the wall, and Bendy can't get you. Fun segment, right? Well, that's what's supposed to happen. Instead, I ran back and tried to warp and missed. So I just stood there, watching Bendy, waiting for it to charge back up. When it did, I tried again and missed again. Then I just stood there, waiting to die. That was very disappointing. But after all that, it ends chapter 2. Yeah, chapter 1 ended after you met Bendy, and I didn't even realize that the chapter ended. But anyway, so far, it's fine. So far, it does feel like it's full of missed opportunities, but hopefully that's just so the later chapters will fulfill those opportunities and be even better. Hopefully. Chapter 3 starts off with a boss fight with this spider creature. First, you just fight these small spiders, and then a big one shows up. I hate this boss fight. If the small spiders kill you, you respawn, but if the big one does, you don't. I have no idea how you're supposed to fight it without buying health refills, because yeah, money and buying things is new to this game. I barely got through this boss and I spent all of my money, because honestly, I have no idea what you're supposed to do. Shortly after that, you enter the sewer segment. The segment starts with you meeting Joey Drew himself. Okay, I don't know why, but the way it's presented just makes it feel anticlimactic. Like he is a very important character, but he doesn't feel like he is in this game. You also find his gravestone, and it just implies that he was just in your head the whole time, I think. And this is revealed right after you meet him. Like, what? Hold it back a little bit, okay? I feel like this would have worked a lot better if you heard him talk to you, and then you saw him, and then it revealed that he was an illusion. You know, in steps that could be hours apart. That way you build it up and then reveal something that you didn't know, instead of just showing him and then immediately revealing the twist. The way it's done just feels way too fast. But after that, like I said, you enter the sewer. Now you need to find a way to mess with the ink levels to get out. And this is about where I started to get annoyed with the art style. Every room is the same color and they look very similar to each other. Like some have different tables or lockers, but like Like, I can't tell the difference. It is so annoying to try to figure out where you are, especially if you quit the game and then come back. I don't know what to do. I did end up fighting these levers, but I'm still confused about what they did. Like, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure you had to open them, but I honestly don't know what they did. I do know that one of them opened this gate to this valve that could change the ink level. So I lowered the ink, went down to the new area, and now what? I opened a pipe, but what does that do? Where did this lead? Well, what you're supposed to do is go raise the ink level back up, and opening that pipe caused it to fill another area as well, so now you can get across. That does sound cool, but I was just confused and messed around until it just worked. And while doing this, I still had to hide from Bendy every once in a while just because the game decided I had to. And even enemies start to appear, and combat is still annoying. It also played this shock sound anytime an enemy sees you, which is quite often. And I had a heart attack each and every time it played. Basically, this area is a lot of annoyances. You wander around, hide randomly, and attack in a very boring way. And the segment right after shows another weird problem this game has. You find this ruler ink creature and his minions, kill them, go pull over, and leave. What? But why? Why is this here? I don't even get what this is for. It's so short. It's just there. It's so bizarre. Why is this in the game? It just felt so random. Like go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. The next chapter, though, does try to have a consistent aesthetic of a cityscape. You have the street full of different buildings and you need to walk by and even enter a few of them to get the items you need. Baby Bendy even shows up and he tries to help you. He just points at objects and you didn't go check what's inside. He's pretty pointless. You even find Joey Drew again, which... okay. He gives you a vision where you play the opening of the first Bendy, which is really cool. He just gives you a ton of exposition and reveals both that Joey is your dad and that he made you from ink.
A wonderful, loving daughter. Bright, kind, almost human.
Okay then. I do think these reveals should have been split up and given to you at different times for pacing reasons, but still, this works. After that, you progress forward and see Demon Bendy. But before you can run, these giant electrical things go off and turn him into Baby Bendy. What? Okay, this is an interesting concept, but I just wish it was revealed better. I wish we spent more time with Baby Bendy to make this even more shocking. I wish the reveal was after Demon Bendy chased us and we got to a dead end, and then before he killed us, he then got turned back into the baby. I also wish that after he was Baby Bendy, he ran up to us and hugged us or something. Instead, he just walks away. And that's it. You don't see Baby Bendy anymore. It's all just a huge missed opportunity. After that, we find a new area and speakers start talking to you. And let me just... yeah, he talks for way too long. After that, we finally get back to stealth segments. And then they are pretty easy. I wish they were a bit harder, but this is at least something. We get past them, we get to the store, and we can't open it. So an ink creature shows up to try to help us, but only after we play hide and seek. What in the name of filler is this? She's not that hard to find, and actually I defined her twice, since the first time it glitched. Whatever, it's not very long. But still, this just feels out of place, like it's just padding. She also gives you your last ability, the ability to use these respawn points to fast travel. But not to any respawn point, just to one corresponding point. Okay. I thought this meant that I would have to travel back to an old area, so I backtracked all the way to the Spider Boss Arena, since I couldn't go back any further, and there was nothing there. In fact, I didn't even need to use this ability, so... why would it give it to me here? I don't get this game. After that, we meet Henry, the protagonist from the first game. He actually just straight up reveals a mystery from the first game. There was a theory that the first game was a time loop, and he just straight up says that's true.
Once upon a time, I knew how to start the cycle over. And when that happens, everything begins again.
So, I guess that's nice. He also tells us how he started the loop over, and we decide we want to try that for ourselves. After that, we enter Chapter 5, the final chapter. Here we meet up with Wilson. He invites us to stay with him, so we take a train ride over to his mansion, which he has somehow. However, he does require us to go through security and lose our weapon. Wilson also explains how he didn't kill the ink demon, but instead he built these electric towers to turn the ink demon into the baby. The towers also take our abilities away sometimes, which is annoying. Fine, I guess it makes sense in the story. But then we meet his maid robot mother thing. Never mind. She takes us to our room and for some reason walks so slow. She's even slower than the walking speed. Why? She tells us we should take some medication to go to sleep. After a short meaningless puzzle to get the medication, we can finally try and go to sleep. But while we take the medicine, we see evil Alice. She kidnaps you and forces you to solve a riddle where you need to find 4 different animals and find out where they sit. So you walk around and ask the 6 people there and they each give you different hints. I find this puzzle pretty cool, though I can understand why others might not like it because they might not be good at it. But like, still, why is it here? It's like the only thing like this in the game. It's cool, but Still weird. Afterwards, we have a far more fitting section where Alice tries to shoot us while we dodge and try to find a way up to her. I found this really quite fun. Once you get up to her, you try to banish her with one of your magic abilities, which you have back for some reason. Guess we're out of range, maybe? I'm not sure. However, she manages to stop you and you both fall off the ledge. She then goes to kill you, but is stopped in a very familiar way. The two Alices even have a short exchange where they say they look the same.
It's our face.
That's a bit weird, but it's fine. So yeah, Alice is back. I bet you forgot she was here. Like early on, she did have a couple moments where you could talk to her through the radio in the studio, but then she just stops, and now she's back. Hooray. You also get to meet Tom, who doesn't appear to be upset with you at all, so I have no idea why you couldn't travel with Alice, but again, whatever, it's a game. After that, we do actually have some really good stealth sections. They're hard, varied, and fun. I mean, it was a bit annoying since you have to find this music box and repair it, but I didn't see the music box since I wasn't searching around anymore. Yeah, the mechanic of searching desks in Chapter 1, we just stopped doing it. Till now, where all of a sudden we need to look around again and find this. I, however, did not look around at all the desks because I hadn't needed to do that for a long time, so I didn't see it, and I literally looked up what to do. After all of that, we finally end up back at Wilson's house, meaning none of that actually made us any progress at all. Why? Did they add that entire segment just so Alice would be in the game? I mean, I won't complain though, since it was pretty fun. However, now we're told that we can't meet up with Wilson until we complete a literal errand. Just like the most generic fetch quest in the world. We ride the train back to the previous area, travel back to the town, find the box of groceries, and then make our way back. But why was this added? It's just like, why? I don't get it. Like maybe if they added some changes, like some scary stuff or more lore or something, but no. We just walk there and walk back and that is it. But now we can finally go actually make more progress and meet up with Wilson in the basement. We go down and actually start to see color. This is an interesting idea since the game is just black and yellowish white, so bringing back color is a cool idea. We get to the bottom and meet up with Wilson and he shows us the character that he made who's also in color. So is he going to bring back color? Is the aesthetic going to change? No, the color is just irrelevant. Wilson instead says that he wants to beat the Ink Demon, and to do so, he wants to make an even powerful monster that he can control. So he wants you to be that monster. He wants you to get into that machine to tear it apart and transform you into the monster. Audrey refuses and pushes him into the machine instead, and he's broken into pieces while Audrey isn't looking. I kinda get this since maybe they didn't want the age rating to get too high or something. Audrey then encounters the monster, this Spider-Monkey-Wilson hybrid, and now you have to fight it for the final boss. It's pretty fun. You have to go around breaking these 4 machines, and then you have to try to kill Wilson out of the monster. Once you do so, Wilson is gone, and now it's just a mindless monster. Before it can attack you though, the Ink Demon himself shows up to fight, and he beats it effortlessly. Bendy goes for you, but he doesn't want to kill you, but instead to fuse with you. He wants you and him to become one, for some reason. So he does just that. Joey Drew shows back up, and Bendy picks him up and kills him, which brings into question if he was real or not. I have no idea. But now, you're Bendy. You control the beast himself, and he sucks. It's just a short segment where you walk forward, open doors, and attacking creatures. You have no health. There is no reason to attack. You can. You even find Alice, who just doesn't question that you're Bendy and decides to help you and open doors for you. Very slowly. Henry even helps for some reason, because why not? Then you go to the projector and play the end. Then it cuts, and you're back in the real world at the studio as Audrey. Now she knows the truth, that she's already an ink creature made by Joey Drew as his daughter. And she... Yep, that's uncomfortable. Also, Bendy's there. Okay, I take it back. He does appear one more time. The end. I don't get this game. It feels like the creators really tried, and they did do much better than the previous game, but it just feels like they went in without a plan. They didn't have a main mechanic in mind, but instead just added anything that they thought was fun, whether it would fit or not. Like, if I were to ask, what is the main mechanic? What would you say? It's not combat, it's not stealth, it's not puzzles. Now, it could be multiple if they achieved a balance, but they just didn't. It's like they just started at the beginning and started making with no plan at all. And they just forgot about things that they added before, and then they just stopped showing up. They forgot about Alice helping you, so she just doesn't show up until the end. They forgot about number lock, so they just stopped showing up. They forgot about stealth for a bit, just to remember a few chapters later. They would also add things for no reason, just because they thought of it. Hey, let's have this King of Ink who has minions who attack you. Okay, then what happens? I don't know. How about that's all we do? Why? Why would I don't have a... Please, make a plan! Years ago, I used to make adventure maps in Minecraft, and I wasn't really great at it. They had a lot of flaws, and those flaws are also found in this game. My last map had you go into an underground facility and meet this gooey creature. I had him show up and help you, and then just forgot about him until the very end. In Chapter 4, I had this weird white magic teleporting box thing that I saw in a map and thought was really cool, so I did it in my map. The next chapter is this big maze-like challenge that's made to be like a Zelda dungeon, since I was really into dungeon design. The game had no real repeating mechanics, and I just made it up as I went along with no thought. It amazes me how I fell for these problems as a kid, and so did the Meatly, an actual game developer. Like in Chapter 5, you wake up on a train without a weapon. You then go pick it up, exit the train, and then you're required to drop your weapon off. Why? Why would you take it away twice? You didn't have it on the train, so why give it back? If you want the security scene, then why take it away on the train? It's like they made the train sequence and the security sequence at different times and just didn't plan for them to be back to back. Look, I don't think this is a bad game. Is it better than the first Bendy? Yes, 100%. Are there fun segments? Absolutely. Is it perfect? No, it's not. I don't know how so many sites can rate it 9 or 10 out of 10. It's an okay game, but it has quite a lot of flaws. I will play Bendy 3, and I do hope that the Meatly learns from their mistakes and are able to make a better, much better, third game. I am excited, since the series shows a lot of potential, but it just hasn't reached it yet. If you like the game, that's great. It had a lot of fun moments. But for me, at some point, I just started wishing the game was over. But that's all I have for this video, so thank you all for watching. I'll see you later, and goodbye. Hello. Fun fact, my great-grandma's name was Audrey. I was gonna make a joke about that, but I couldn't figure out how to write it in the script. I feel really bad making like negative videos. I feel really bad about, but like, you know, people wanted me to do this video, and I had negative feelings, so I'm not gonna not be negative. So I hope you liked it.